Hello everyone, this is Miss Laura. How you do? It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a while now. I'm so glad that I'm here. So I'm actually here to address some of the questions that have been coming back and front from people. Questions like, oh, as an educator, how do you help children, build their long life skills? How do you help children, how do you prepare children for the future, apart from, knowing their academics and their, and other things? Well, I will be very honest with you. I have failed as a teacher at my early stage when I just started in the early in the field of education. I would say I have failed, and mind you, if you know me, if you're very close to me, I don't take failure as a defeat. Failure is something that prepares me to be better. So I take failure as a teacher. Failure is my teacher. So failure teaches me how to get better from what is that made me fail. So when I say I failed when I was early in the field, preparing my students, or rather my children, for the future was never, that skill was never there. So then my goal was just to let my children, teach them their letters, their numbers, their shapes, their names, how to write their names and all of that. It was just all about writing and reading. And then I thought I was doing the best, not knowing I was making mistakes. Then as time goes on, when I started growing in the field, being exposed to a lot of things, exposed to education, going higher in education, and the feedback, open to evaluation and everything, I have come to realize that I wasn't doing the right thing then. So I've actually learned from that. So there are more to letting your children just read and write. There are more skills. There are more things for them to know apart from that, because there is life after school. So how do we prepare these children how do we prepare them for the future? How do we challenge them to face the world? So these are the things we're going to be discussing, and I hope I'm able to address this today. Then in the classroom, as a teacher, as an educator, what I do, I actually, after I have learned from my mistake, I realized that I have to teach these children skills to be able to move on after school. These skills are skills that I try to implement into my lesson to make sure these children are developing these skills. So things like, okay, offer children choices, okay, allow children to be children. Sometimes as adults, we don't like children to make mistakes, so we don't give them the opportunity to make mistakes. No, that's not. We have to make sure, to let them make mistake and then learn from the mistake. Most times I let my children to be free, to be them, to be children. So when they make mistake, they will realize that they made a mistake, and so we learn from there, from making mistakes. I give them room to make mistake. So I let them play, and I let them, make mistake, and then we correct the mistake together. So this is one of the skills you have to let your children know, because there are mistakes in life. Mistake is part of life. So why don't you just build that foundation? Why don't you just let them know that there are mistakes and we are bound to make mistakes? With that, they have the skill, so they will know that, oh, my teacher or my parents told me this, that I'm bound to make mistakes. So when I make mistake, that doesn't mean I'm not human. That doesn't mean I can't make it in life. Then the other thing is, teaching them a critical thinking skill and being a problem solver. Some teachers or some parents would just help children solve their problems. They have conflict. Just you come in to just help them solve the problem. I don't do that. I used to do that in the past, but not now, not anymore, because I'm not helping my children. So what I do in such case, for instance, if a child comes to me in the classroom and try to tell on any child that a child comes to, grab a pencil from him without his permission, that's going to be a very big problem in the classroom. That, oh, that's a problem, because why would you come to me to pick a pencil without my permission? So if you come to me as a teacher in the classroom, or rather maybe as a parent, and you come to me to complain about that, I don't just come in to solve the problem. I let you solve it. So what I do, I ask the child, what do you think you have done wrong? What do you think you should have done? So can you just resolve the issue? Tell me, how do you solve this? Are you supposed to take that pencil from that child? Can you tell me what you should have done better? So I sit back to watch them, resolve it. The only time I come in is to maybe when it is beyond them, but I just give them the room to try first. So some people don't do that. You just let the children try to resolve problems, because then you're teaching them how to be problem solver. Because in time to come after school, you're not going to be there with them to solve problems. So if they have that background of knowing how to solve issues, how to resolve conflict, then they're good to go. They're good to go. Then one thing that I also realize is that, not letting children be children, not letting them be. Encourage children to work independently. I have my children work independently. This is almost the same thing that I mentioned earlier about having them make mistakes. I sit back to watch them, work independently. Then they have this, this mindset that, oh, I could work on my own without any support from any adults. So just let them be independent, even if they make mistakes. Like I said, mistakes are bound to happen. So have them make mistakes. Have them just be their own, to be independent. You're teaching them how to be leaders. Some teachers or parents always want to be the teacher, always want to be the parent. Sometimes give the children the room to be independent, the room to lead. You're teaching them how to be a good leader tomorrow. So I let them take the lead sometimes in the classroom, even at home with my children. And there is another thing I think some people don't really understand, especially helping children to build social skills. Some kids break down easily, crying for just little things that they are not supposed to cry for. So in that case, you have to make them understand that crying is not a solution to any problem. You teach them social skills, teach them social emotional skills. There are some students too who are, they are very shy. They don't want to communicate or interact with their peers. They don't want to, they just want to be on their own. Sometimes in the classroom, some teachers just let those kids graduate and go like that. No, you have to help them build the skill of how to be sociable. A child who always want to be, doesn't want to work with his or her friends in the classroom. How do I do that? In the classroom, what I do to help that child, I normally do something we call show and tell. A teacher can, we understand what I'm trying, where I'm coming from. And for parents too, you could also do that at home as well. It's called a show and tell. If I have a student in my classroom who doesn't like to socialize with his or her friends, or maybe communicate with the teacher or with her friends or his friend. So this is one of the thing I do in a classroom to make sure that child is exposed, is sociable, is building the skill. This is where I have a child come in. They have their own project to talk about. They speak about their project. I have a project. You have to tell me, how did you arrive at this project? What did you do at home with your parents? So this time around, this child is explaining, is expressing, is talking in sentences. He's socializing while others are watching him speak, talking about the project. So if I have a child who is not that sociable, this is the time for the child to speak up. This is the time for me to encourage that child to talk about his or her project. From there, we're building on. I'm helping the child build the skill of being sociable, of socializing, of speaking, of outspoken. Because if I have the child just go like that out of school, tell me what is going to become of that student when he or she leaves school. For instance, there is you want to graduate, so you want to work, you want to be in the world. How are you going to attend to your interview? How are you going to speak up when you're being interviewed and you're seeking for a job? If you don't have that foundation, how are you going to manage that situation? So this is why I love to help these children build those skills, because like I said, there is life after school. They speak, give them room to talk. Then you as a teacher, bring yourself down for your children, for your students. Let them speak. At home, you could also implement this at home. As parents, maybe you're watching a movie with your child, with your baby. So talk about the movie. Let your child talk about the movie. Ask questions like, oh, you just watch movie, and how is it all, what is it all about? Can we share? Can we talk about it? Can you tell me what you just watched? Can you tell me the characters in the movie, the characters in the book? This is not just only for the teachers, it is also for you, the parents, because these questions are coming from the parents. So these are the ways you build. If you have two kids who have conflict, who have there's a situation where they are dragging or fighting over something, how do you come in as a parent? How do you try to resolve the problem? Do you just come in, watch them? I'm not talking about physical fight, like they're arguing. How do you come in? What do you say? Do you just come in to just help them resolve issues? Like I said earlier, watch them to see how they start to, try to resolve it before you can come in. So these are the ways to help these children. These are the ways to prepare them for the future. It's a challenging world. There are so many challenges out there. So this foundation is what we have to lay for these children. Yeah. So I hope this addressed the questions that will be coming in, and also this is also for teacher, for especially the new ones. I know I'm not that old in the system yet, but from my experience, from what I'm exposed to, I'm glad I'm able to share this, so you can take it as an idea. You could use this, and you could also implement it in the classroom to help these children. And you as a parent too, you have a role to play. You have a role to play. It's not just you helping your child with his or her homework. Just helping them, help with their homework. There are other things you also have to do, just with what I said earlier. Don't have them exposed into a lot of challenges. Yeah, and I'm so glad that I did this. I hope this helps, and please don't fail to come to my YouTube for more questions. Come to my Instagram. I'm always here to address anything that you need me to address. Please don't fail to come to me. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope to see you soon.